Warren Fiscal Court, Tuesday, March 5th, 2019 is now called to order. I want to welcome Associate Pastor Franklin Wiggins with the Crossland Community Church, who's here today to offer prayer. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the prayer and remain standing as Esquire Cummings will lead us in the pledge following. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Let's pray. Father God, we just stop and we pause for a moment to first and foremost exalt you as our Heavenly Father and to just proclaim how good and how great you really are. The ability to simply open our eyes this morning and take in a new breath, to experience the cool, crisp morning of a March day, Father. And it's just, it's good. It's good to take in who you are and what you continue to do in our lives. God, I thank you for this room full of men and women who are here to serve this community. And as I stand before them as simply a member of this community, a person that lives here in Warren County, I'm kind of taken back. I'm impressed. I'm in awe of their dedication, of their service to the people of this area, to people of this city and this county. And Father, I thank you for their willingness to give of their time, giving their livelihoods, to give of their schedules out of this morning to come together and to discuss the things that are important to men and women and children of this area across all kinds of different economic regions and across different racial regions. And Father, we come just as simply as Kentuckians, as Warren Countyans, as people who live in Bowling Green and people who want to better this area and this community for our families and for our children, our grandchildren, for years and decades to come. God bless our time together. Bless the things that are discussed here in this meeting as we just continue to work towards making your vision of what it is that you want out of your people to come to be. We love you. We thank you for loving us. It's in the holy name of Jesus Christ I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
Here.
Esquire Gorman.
Here. Need to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting February 13th, 2019. We have a motion by Esquire Cummings, second by Esquire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Let's call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. We have our friends here from the Warren County Conservation Office here to present their 2019-2020 budget. Roads, come in. How y'all doing? How many of y'all are here?
We have Emily Sharp, that's Vice Chair, Morgan Maris, and Penny Warwick, that are district employees. We have Mark Chapman, that's supervisor, and Rhodes Hester, that is a supervisor. We have brought our budget and program of work, and you have that in front of you. If you have any questions, I'll let one of them answer it.
All righty. Now, we're not approving this to
You're
this
not
morning.
having to approve this today.
Just to put it to record.
Yes.
Okay. Do you all have any questions this morning?
Only being a new magistrate, how does it compare to last year's budget or previous budgets? The only question I would have.
It's very similar. We're on the millage tax, and of course the millage tax is constant or increasing. We've actually, since we've been on the millage tax, we've actually lowered it a couple of times.
Are you guys in the new building? I was by there yesterday.
Now that's the extension office.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
still out on Lover's Lane. We are
Sorry, yeah.
in the same building with FSA. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing, which I do every year. We have a full agenda coming up. We have a lot of things going on. Our staff provides technical assistance through state and local programs, federal programs. We do a lot more today about it with education, education of young people. That we think it's very important for us to present conservation to them and encourage them to continue to take care of our resources. We have environmental programs, the rain barrel workshop where people can catch rainwater and then use it. Compost bin program workshop to where people can learn to compost their garbage rather than putting it in the landfill. As far as education, we're still working with the Envirothon, which is a national program. We have teams at Gatton Academy in South Warren, and we're very excited that we've got young people that are wanting to learn more about the environment. One program that we're starting this year is a local mini grant program to where teachers, schools can apply for some grants to help with gardens on the school property, other things as far as conservation. If they will present a program to us and it's of value, we've got 2 this year that we've approved. That also covers conservation field trips and other things related to the environment and agriculture. Our staff is also involved with school field days and classroom involvement. We have partnerships with stormwater management in a streamside field days with Parks and Recreation to provide things for Arbor field days. We also have started giving high school scholarships to each of the high schools, students that are interested, 1 scholarship per high school for students that are going to college with an emphasis in agriculture and environment, conservation, that type of thing. We also have 1 scholarship going to Western as well. We have partnered renewing a dead animal removal program. We had some money to bury livestock, but last year we partnered with stormwater management, and we have someone that's picking up dead animals, keeping them out of the sinkholes and streams, and hopefully improving our environment. Those animals are picked up, they are rendered, and everything about the animal is used. The stormwater management has also partnered with us on some erosion control things. I think Penny is going to be talking about that in a little while. Another thing that we're involved with, we got involved with, this is the 2nd year, with the Housing Authority and the community garden down there. We are providing with grants that they are getting, and then what we are providing. We've got a lot going on down there. And to explain a little bit more about what's going on, Emily Sharp has worked a lot closer with that, and so she's going to finish up for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good program then.
Well, we're excited about it, and thanks for listening. Abraham had 42-acre farm, and we decided that there was maybe more that could be done with it. They rented out plots, and what we have now is about 5 acres under cultivation. We have 600 families that we have involved. We're doing education in the Learning Center, where we have the kids learning how to plant a seed. We have cooking and nutrition classes in the hospitality house. We are working with the Soki Farmers Market. Hopefully, we'll have some of the residents will be taking their things to the commercial kitchen and learning to do some value-added products we're selling in the crop shop. The new mobile grocery that's starting, we're going to be providing tomatoes and corn and greens and things for that to be sold to residents as it goes around town. So put my farmer's hat on this morning, but we're real excited. Come down, walk around. We have a swale system that utilizes some very innovative techniques for water and soil conservation, and we're excited about it. So feel free to walk down. Usually the gate's open, and we also have the greenhouse going. You can buy strawberry plants right now. So
The mobile grocery store, is the...
that's the Housing Authority.
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting on the committee for that as a spinoff from the Conservation District, just because I'm trying to make sure that our guys at the garden are growing what they can use to sell.
Yeah.
And so that's not an official duty of the Conservation District, but it's a nice side effect of the work we're doing with the garden.
Seems like a really good program, and
Well, I think so.
I didn't
And if
realize
you-
how badly it was needed.
When you see the faces of these people, it's providing a real community thing for them. I think you'll see some exciting new products at the farmers market because of the different crops with some of the immigrant populations that are involved. I think they planted something like 10,000 hot pepper plants, tiny little hot peppers, but they are able to sell those to families and bring some funds back in. And we did get a KDA grant of $32,000 over a 3-year period to supplement what the Conservation District is doing. So, and we're looking for other grant opportunities so it can become a self-sustaining program. So, any questions?
Do you have any questions, Ms. Sharp?
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else that you'd like? So if there are no objections, we're going to accept this and put it to record. No objections, that's hereby ordered to be entered into the record. I thank you all so much. Now, did we have an action item on there for you all too, or?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. Tim Sharp and Stuart Payton are here to discuss the Rural Secondary Road Program. Glad to have y'all here.
I'm glad you didn't bring Joe with you, all prettier than he is.
Good morning. Thank you for having us, Judge. My name is Stuart Payton. I'm an engineering supervisor in the Bowling Green section for the Department of Highways. And I'm here today to present the 2019-2020 fiscal year Rural Secondary Road Program. With me today is Tim Sharp. He's the branch manager for both construction and maintenance in our division. On the handout, if you would, follow along with me. The top portion of the handout is a recap of what this year's budget is comprised of. You'll see that the 1920 allotment, the initial allotment for this year is $1,731,909. And then right below that, the last year's carryover balance, which is the unused fund from last year, added $361,000 to that total of $2,093,331. So the county flex funds, the box below that is 15% of that initial distribution, and that's $259,786, and there was no carryover from last year's program. So on the lower half, you see the allotment there, total of $2,093,000 331, and then the series of items that will be in this year's program. So number one will be the routine maintenance and traffic on the 155 miles of rural secondary roads here in Warren County at a cost of $4,022 per mile, and that comprises of 36% of that initial distribution for $623,500. Item number two is the county judge expenses for $2,400. Item number three is the flex funds that I described at the top, which is 15% of that overall distribution, and that's $259,786. And then item 4 through 8, I've attached a map to just for geographical reference on the second page there. But item number 4 is to resurface 3 miles of Kentucky 1435, that's Barren River Road, from the intersection of US 68, so that's Veterans Memorial, extended northerly to Belle Reeve Circle intersection. This project will include roadway base failure repairs, some drainage improvements, and permanent pavement markings for a total of $424,860. Item number 5 is to construct penetrated shoulders on that same 3-mile section of Barren River Road. KYTC Forces will install this new chip seal shoulder. The project total would be $47,019. And then item number 6 is to install drilled soil nails, and this will be to repair a roadway slide or a small slope failure on Kentucky 626, which is the Jackson Bridge Road portion. This is at the 3.1 mile point, and it'll require tree removal, the slope stabilization, and reinstallation of the guardrail for a total of $160,000. Item number 7 is to resurface 3.583 miles of Kentucky 626, the Jackson Bridge Road section, beginning at the Butler County line and extending east to just shy of the Gasper River Bridge. That project will include base failure repairs and drainage improvements as well, for a total of $371,656. And lastly, item number 8 is to resurface 2.482 miles of Galloway's Mill Road, that's Highway 1083, beginning at the Butler County line and extending east to about a half a mile west of the Gasper River Bridge. That project will include base failure repairs and permanent markings for a total of $204,110. And that will leave this year's program with a zero balance.
It appears that Squire Young did well again this year.
You know, I've noticed something about these gentlemen. They're really, really diligent about spending the money where it's most needed. It just happens to be in the 5th district.
No, I agree, they are needed. Great job.
Does anybody
Anyone have any questions? Stuart?
Just don't forget about the 4th district next time.
Certainly.
Basic question is how you come up with priority of, nothing against Squire Young.
I just explained it.
But just how do you come up with, how do you determine, what kind of process you use to determine the viability or what's, ranking of priority of what needs to be done?
We do a full evaluation of the roadway in itself. That's not only just the pavement, but that's the structure of the road, the safety of the road, the drainage of the road. So a rural secondary program allows us to think right-of-way line to right-of-way line. What would be the greatest improvement for the community? So it allows us to do some things that some of our other resurfacing programs may not allow, but safety, drainage, structure of the road, and the riding surface are all evaluated each year.
And these roads do need it.
Yes.
All right, if there are no questions, then we have a motion to accept. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Gorman. No other questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Stuart. Appreciate it. Thanks, Tim. We need to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire Young, second. Squire McWhorter, discussion, questions?
Just they've done a marvelous job with all this water we've had in the last few weeks and so forth. Jerry and them have done a great job with
It's
it.
incredible.
It is terrific.
You heard that, didn't you, Jerry? Okay. We have a motion and a second. No other questions, please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve personnel changes for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve Resolution 1905, a resolution of the County of Warren, Kentucky, authorizing and approving mortgages in connection with the issuance of taxable industrial revenue bonds, Quiver Ventures LLC project, in the principal amount of $250 million. And we have, although it's hard to believe with the short length of this heading, that Mr. Gil Johnson, our bond attorney, is here with us today to explain this to all of you all.
I had my associate write the title. Of course, I fired him before I came down here because I was pretty upset about this. But this is kind of an unusual. We're not asking that you approve a bond issue because you've already done that quite some time ago. But Concilium and their attorney, Brett Reynolds, is here. He can speak for them. But they are doing a refinancing. They were the purchasers of these $250 million worth of bonds. They're doing a refinancing as a result of a change in ownership, and a name change, I guess that's correct, Brett. And so what they are doing is going to CIT Bank and asking for a mortgage, and the bank is requiring that the county sign that mortgage because, in fact, the county owns the property and leases it to them. Now, this is something we've done before. We did it with another particular project. It's not an unusual request. But if, in your package, if you look at page 16 on the mortgage, you'll see a paragraph, I think it's 35 there, that it bleeds over to page 17 as well, that indicates that there is no liability or obligation on behalf of the county. CIT, as well as Wells Fargo, there are two mortgages, have agreed to that language. So even though there may be other amendments, that language will not change at all. So again, it's a no obligation to the county, never has been, and that is obviously statutory, but it's in this resolution as well as in the documents. And I don't know, Brett may want to speak for.
Mr. Reynolds? Y'all have any questions of Mr. Reynolds?
Make a motion.
We have a motion to approve by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Any further discussion?
I know you had something to do with this 18 pages to say we're putting a mortgage on there, though, Gil. That's good.
Well, I got bored.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, and no other questions and no further discussion. Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you all. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here too, Ms. Rosansky.
What about me?
I always appreciate you being here. Always happy to have you here. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Drive safe. Okay, the next item on the agenda, item number 8, has been requested to pull this for today by Mr. Comer. Without objection, we're going to go ahead and pull that item. The next item is to approve the exonerated refund for Country Oven Bakery for 2014 and 15 for the Warren County Sheriff's Department. Kevin, do y'all have any, Sheriff, do y'all have any comments on this? Or
Hello. This was the result of a state audit. Department of Revenue sent down a audit for the 14 and 15 bills for Country Oven Bakery. So we did go back and retroactively exonerate some of the categories that they had paid in. It was just how they listed some of their inventory changed, and it resulted in a refund.
Any questions? Thank you. We have a motion?
No.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the next item, item number 10, we were requested to pull this by the sheriff's office, correct?
Had looked at this. Now, we minimally use the pictometry, and there are some ways that we can use Google Maps and Google Earth to look at some of the same mapping systems. So if like I explained to Mr. Burrell, that if in fact this was just being solely purchased on behalf of the Warren County Sheriff's Office, we have other means that we can look at some of that, as long as this doesn't affect PVA or wastewater management. If it's just solely for us, then we could utilize other things and save fiscal court some
Okay.
money. So,
We don't want to spend $15,000 if we don't need to.
yes, sir.
I agree. Thank you. Okay, if there are no objections, and we're going to pull item number 10. We'll go to item number 11, and that's to approve easement for a school bus turnaround at 581 Lawrence Road.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence. Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Is your kinfolk own this house or something, Tom? I'm just curious. It's long-
That's not my driveway, by the way. This is-
Yeah, yeah. All righty.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item is to approve the determination in the amount of $5,526 to Bluegrass Commercial Door for replacement for the softball complex, commercial door for replacement doors for the softball complex at Buchanan Park. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve the recommendation of Public Works that Greenwood Tree Service, Runners Landscape, and Gill's Tree Service be awarded tree trimming bid for Warren County.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to grant authority to advertise for inmate communication systems for the Warren County Regional Jail. If we have motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Lawrence. Now, would you like to give us a little bit of an explanation just for everyone else? I know all the magistrates are aware.
This is FORS. Our current phone system was up, the contract was up on that in February. So now we're putting out bids for new phone services. Plus, we're going to be introducing video visitation, so that's going to be part of our package. We need to get up with the times to do the video visitation because it provides families to be able to do mobile visitation as well as coming on site. So thus housing a lot of people out of state, that would make it easier once we can get that in play.
Any questions? Discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve determination in the amount of $9,962.40 to Sigma Organics for 21 more skids of Heritage Red field conditioner. There are 3 quotes received, and this was the lowest and best quote.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion, question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve the January 2019 Treasurers Report. Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item is to approve first reading of ordinance 1907, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and Crabtree Estates. Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 18 is to approve Order 1905, reappointing Tim Graham and Christian Volkert to the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve Order 1906, reappointing David Souders, Alice Ford, and Laura Jones to the Urban Growth Design Review Board.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve Order 1907, reappointing Jim Lockwood to the Board of Adjustments Board.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second
Second.
by Squire Young. Discussion. Questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve Order 1908, appointing the following to the Stormwater Advisory Board: Fred Alcott, Warren Campbell, Ron Cummings, Roe Lanston, and Tony Payne.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Abstain.
Esquire Cummings.
Abstain.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is to approve determination in the amount of $6,010.60 to Summit Uniforms for the purchase of ballistic body armor. 3 quotes were received, and this is the lowest and best quote, no cost to Warren County, totally funded through asset forfeiture.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Just curious, I mean, how many more do we need? Would be a good question to have.
How many more,
Body armor do we need? I mean, this is 4, right? That's what we're buying. It's 4. Are we short?
do you know, Sheriff?
This is for a drug task force, and I did talk to Tommy about 2 days ago. He's just out of town. Probably would use more, but at $1,500 a piece, this is just, I guess need to bust a few more people, need some money from them, buy some more. So, but
So that covers their immediate needs for their,
That's what he said.
everyone else is covered through their own agencies, right?
Yes, sir. And typically, these are on 5-year rotations, and manufacturers will only here in California make the 5 years.
Yeah.
You recertify or they just don't?
They're done, sometimes we used to give them the military.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second.
No other questions? Let's call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Next item is to grant authority to advertise for the repairs of the Hadley Volunteer Fire Department Station Number 1. Motion by Squire Young. Second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions?
Just curious what all we're doing, what all needed out there. Sorry,
Justice.
I heard someone say it's about time under their breath back there.
No, the station's got some water damage to the back wall. There's a kind of a lean-to add-on it's kind of, some wood is rotten. We've got some leaking going on. There's some rusting of the metal, insulation falling. So what's proposed out of this is to take that back section completely off, reconstruct it, get it sealed up good, change the pitch of the roof a little bit. That should help with the runoff. It's kind of causing this damage. We had previously quoted this just through soliciting quotes, but the prices came back over that $20,000 threshold. That's why we're putting it back out to bid again now. Kind of held off a little bit because it was too cold and too wet to work. Part of what will have to happen during this is Russell and his guys will have to move some of that equipment out because there'll be a time period where that building will be unsecured as they're doing this work. So we're going to wait till things warm up a little bit better so they can move their trucks elsewhere. So we'll get quotes back and bring this back to you here in 2 or 3 weeks anyway.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Moore? Thank you. Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve termination in the amount of $5,480 to CGS Machine and Tool for replacement gates for the dog park and cross-access side at Moore Park. 3 quotes were received, and this was the lowest and best quote. Do we have a motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Young? Discussion or questions?
What happened to the gates that were just put up?
Had a little flooding down there.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What happened to the gates that we just put up?
The gates that we just put up, actually, the gates that fell apart, they actually almost fell on an employee, have been repaired 5 times. They're the original gates from 2000 when the park was established. They've been rammed by dump trucks, semi-trucks, other vehicles over the course of the years, and the internal component bearing pieces have completely broken down, and one of our staff went over to secure the gate at night, and the gate fell just right in front of them. So from a safety standpoint, we do have water access on that side of the park. People do try to get into that facility after hours, and so we have a beefier gate to try to secure that river access point because of issues we've had in the past. And so we feel the gate that we're quoting is going to be a little bit lighter, so it's not so hard to move around, but it's going to be just as durable, made with composite materials, and it should be an equivalent gate. So.
So we have a problem with people running over the gates?
We have we've had people trying to get into the gates after hours for water access. We've had vehicles ram into the gates. We've had people inside the park after hours, 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, that have been locked in the park because they decided to go down the river and canoe and kayak at midnight, trying to get out drunk under the influence of other substances, and they've tried ramming the gates.
So that's over an 18-year period.
That's over since Mr. Hightower and the Sheriff's Office, Fish and Wildlife, Kentucky State Police working together, and now having a deputy assigned for our department. We've really been able to cut down both the emergency responses and then the issues at night. But a large part of it is because of the gate People know that once the gate's locked, we have signs posted that they don't need to be in that area.
This is the main entrance gate to the park, not the dog park physical that we just installed. This is the going into that area, correct?
This is the main entrance on the Old Stone side of the park. Yes, sir.
Would this be something we need to look at putting in a surveillance to monitor?
We've looked at that. Unfortunately, the project I'm working on behind the scenes with Mr. Cummings is the internet service there is extremely poor. We barely have enough internet service inside the gym area. The type of equipment we would need, even if we went with a wireless camera from Bluegrass or another service provider, to be able to keep that powered and operational. We just don't have the infrastructure currently to do that. We've used deer cameras before. They're only good for about a 72-hour period. They only capture certain things. Oftentimes where we have to mount them to get a good picture, they've actually been stolen. And so we appreciate the Sheriff's Office and all emergency services and our park staff. For many years, I would go down and I was the night attendant at the park, ran out probably hundreds of people between the hours of 12 and 3 a.m. Because of the Sheriff's Office now, we're not armed at the park. They really do help us out with our after-hour calls. And so, proudly, a lot of those calls no longer happen. So,
Any other questions?
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next item is to grant executive authority to sign the Federal Emergency Management Agency Kentucky Division of Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation application for a safe room at Plano Volunteer Fire Department.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Cummings. Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Next item is to grant judge executive authority to sign the Federal Emergency Management Agency Kentucky Division of Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation application for a safe room at Woodburn Volunteer Fire Department. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? There being none, please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes,
Esquire Cummings. Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Next item is to approve Resolution 1904, appointing Stephen Kenworthy as the applicant agent for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second.
Second.
Squire Young, discussion, questions? Call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to grant Public Works Director authority to sign dead stock removal service agreement for the Warren County Conservation District A&S Livestock and Stormwater Management.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
Judge, you know, we just heard from the state or the Conservation District people about how important this is to Warren County to keep these dead animals out of our sinkholes and whatever, you know, however people choose to dispose them.
Yeah.
Not properly. So this is a very important. I get several phone calls from farmers and not just farmers, but how do they get a hold of these people? So, you know, I think advertising this service is greatly needed to make the public aware that there is a agency out there that they can contact to help with this problem.
I can't remember, was it like 1 or 2 years that after Griffin went out, we didn't have this service? And was it several?
Yeah.
But it,
We were burying them, but still proper burial, we weren't able to verify all burials and if it was done properly. So this is actually the best way.
well, it's definitely needed. Boy, when we didn't have it, it was,
For several years, Griffin
a mess.
Industries would come out and do pickup, and that was subsidized through different grants and things like that. And then that company went out of business, so that service for several years was not there for the public. And this is basically the same thing, but there are proper channels that people have to go through to get this service.
We're very thankful that you all picked that back up.
I think on top of that, communicating and advertising, letting people know the service available is probably a challenge that soil conservation and you all need to do, because people will do that, if they know it's available. If they don't know it's available, then they're not going to call.
They call the soil conservation office, right?
They can call us, or they can call we're trying, we started this past year, so we've been trying to get it out through our Facebook page and the extension newsletters, they put it out for us, and so we advertise that way, and publications at TSC and Starkville and places like that, but.
We also advertise in the newspaper.
Yes.
As well as we've reached out to cattlemen's associations as well. Now, that doesn't cover all livestock in Warren County, but it does help
Get
at
the
the
word.
base, and then after that, it's very much word of mouth after that.
Nikki, did you all also, is it on our Facebook, is it on our page for the Warren County government for stormwater management? You all have it there too? Okay.
Any other comments? We thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have no other comments? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to grant Public Works Director authority to sign soil erosion control program agreement for the Warren County Conservation District and the stormwater management.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next item is to accept the lowest and best quote of Roy Hunter CPA to do the Warren County's audit for fiscal year 2018-19 at a cost of $22,450. There were 3 quotes received, and this was the lowest and best quote.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is be to approve the claims. Will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General Fund, $834,741. Road Fund, $129,223. Jail Fund, $493,617. And Stormwater Fund, $36,811. You have to answer any questions.
Make a motion to approve the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young, approve claims submitted, second by Squire Cummings. Further discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne. Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire McWhorter.
Yes.
Esquire Gorman.
Okay. Sheriff Hightower, I understand we've got some news coming up about some power outage and
Yes, sir.
other problems
Me.
or other opportunities.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. One thing I'd just like to make a comment before I kind of brief you all on a couple of different items of interest. I would just like to thank our volunteer fire departments, for what they do. We worked two pretty horrific accidents yesterday in two different ends of the county. They respond. They're true professionals. They take care of business, and I really would just like to thank them in front of everybody here today for what they do on a day-to-day basis.
They do an extraordinary job, and I
Yes,
know
sir.
that they're extraordinary people to show up at whatever time it happens, and as first responders in so many situations, and particularly unfortunate situations like you all had to deal with last night.
Yes, sir. So I've got two different points of interest. The first I'm going to cover is the outage that we're going to have here within this building. So we have met. We had kind of a stakeholders meeting last Friday with James and Stan Reagan and IT folks and just everybody who we thought would have an interested party in this. And so we think we have a plan in place. So we're trying to put the best plan on this. But it looks like right now the goal is on the 23rd and 24th of this month, that weekend, that they're going to be doing the upgrade to the electrical system here. So the electricity is going to be completely shut off here. So on that Friday afternoon before that, we're going to make some transitions because it's going to really affect our dispatch center, and we're going to relocate ourselves over to Tommy Loving's area at the Drug Task Force. A couple of different reasons. Western did offer that we could utilize their space, but just for the ease of being able to hook into some of our own mainframe over there, it's going to be a much easier transition. So we've got a couple of things we're looking at as far as just keeping the power on to a couple of different panels that run our information systems. And so we're working with Buck Electric to take a look at that and how to best utilize that information. We've gotten in touch with Frankfurt as well about our NCIC CGIS information. So they're either doing a walkthrough, I think, today or tomorrow over at Tommy's place because it had to be a secure location. So along with that, one of the things is, Stan Reagan is going to give out an email, I think, on that Friday for everybody to shut down their computer systems to make sure they're completely shut down the right way on that Friday. And that way they're, when they come back up, they've been shut down properly. We don't run into issues with that. So we also think we've got it where the IT access will be working and operational for us. We're working with Cornerstone on that. And we'll have two stations operationally over at the DTF. So we're going to basically disassemble two stations within our dispatch center, transition it over there, and that should be, we hope, enough. But we're also going to be working on portable radios. So we won't have the base stations. It's going to save us some time, effort, and energy because everything we move, we're going to have to move back. So whatever we can do, to minimize that we're going to try to do that. The building security here, because of all the mag locks on this building, they're not going to be operational. So we're going to have to manually lock those, but then we have to keep the fire codes and everything. So we will brief the contractor about egress points as far as that and try to make sure that we do have some secured personnel here somehow, that we try to either keep sight on this or work with the contractor to make sure somebody's here and keeping that. So when we say that, everybody on that Friday, make sure we will find out too the scope of work, where they have to get to. We think it's going to be contained to a centralized location, but if it's not, we'll let you know so that if somebody has to make access into an office space or something. But otherwise, we'd ask for everybody to lock up their offices, and that way we'll try to minimize any risk of anybody getting into a place they're not supposed to be. So do we have any questions on that?
Will they be able to complete their work over that weekend? Have they assured you? And if you have contingency plans in the event they don't
Yeah.
get it all?
The goal is that they will actually be done within 24 hours. If it goes past that, hopefully it won't double that, and if it does double that, we can still operationally, the sheriff's office can operate out of the DTF like that. It might cause some issues for everybody else within the building not having any electricity, because there won't be any generators running anything, and so it'd just be kind of difficult. So we surely hope that 24 hours will take care of this.
Well, there won't be anyone else in the building on those days, will there?
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. But, of course, the heat, I'm hoping it's a little warmer on those
Yeah,
days.
we're hoping it's a little warmer, and we're trying to do it at that time before it gets hot, because if in fact the same thing, it starts getting warmer, that we're not up here on the second floor, there wouldn't be air conditioning, it could get a little warm as well. So you know how it is in Kentucky. Just wait till tomorrow, the weather will change.
You never know.
So if anybody has any other questions, just let myself know. And like I say, emergency management's been great helping us out with everything. So I really appreciate Ronnie Pearson and what him and his staff have been doing as well. So it's been great.
Anyone have any questions, the Sheriff?
Second point, you've got, this is something we've been working on, and I could go into a lot, but I won't. But this is basically the transportation of emergency mental individuals. And so how it works a lot of times in Warren County, we kind of become the hub where other surrounding counties, when somebody has either a threat to themselves or others, they end up down here at the medical center for treatment. The doctors usually get in touch with our court system, and a lot of times they file an order or petition for that person to be evaluated by life skills. So Bowling Green Police typically responds down the medical center because it's in the city limits. They transport the person to life skills, and then if that person is certified to be seen by Western State, then they have to be transported all the way to Western State. So it's a little over 60 miles there each way, about a 120-mile round trip. So historically, this has been done either by constables and/or we had another group of individuals that were doing this transportation, and they were getting reimbursed by life skills. But the way the KRS is, it talks about sheriffs, police, other groups, but basically fell under our umbrella. They were special deputies under the Warren County Sheriff's Office, but they really weren't employees of ours. So in the training, driver's training, mental training from the CIT aspect, I kind of wanted to take a little bit more of a hold of this. If we're going to have some liability with this, I'd rather own it if at all possible. And so we have been working, and thankfully Ms. Milliken has been helping out with this and helping out with this contract. So we have a contract, and this is just kind of an update on this. We're still in kind of negotiations, but you'll see on there the one page. I broke this out, and I've met with Life Skills and had a few different meetings with them. And so the idea would be that we would hire 3 part-time individuals that would cover down primarily from almost noon to midnight. And each one of them would work 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. And on the weekend, you'd have one person that worked 12 hours from basically noon to midnight, 12 and 12. So we would have the majority of time when we needed transport covered by that. And so Life Skills typically, they pay or reimburse for some mileage, but it doesn't cover a lot of the other things that take place with these transportations. And so my idea would be that that they cover the cost of those individuals. And the 102 is close to what they paid last year between the adult transports and the juvenile transports. But then there's also some wear and tear on vehicles, insurance, mileage, tire costs, and radios for a one-time expense. So we're kind of still in that negotiation phase with them to try to get this where we're not out any money, but we've kind of professionalized it, and we ensure that these people have driver's training, they have restraint training, they have CIT, mental health training, and all that, and they would actually fall under the Warren County Sheriff's Office as transportation deputies. So I just want to bring you all up to speed on that. There'll be more to follow, but I just want to see if anybody had any questions about that, and if so, I can answer those questions now or later.
Sheriff, when do they expect a decision on that? Have you presented this dollar amount to them already?
I have, yes. We've talked about the dollar amount a couple of different times. I'm meeting with Joe Dan Beavers on Thursday afternoon this week, and he and I will sit down again and talk about this.
How many transports do we do on average?
Oh, my goodness. Last month, we did, last I looked, it was right about 30. So it was a short month. February is a short month. So it can vary. It really, sometimes we might have 10 in a week. Sometimes we can have 6 in a week. And it really varies. But last year, they had, I think it was 679 transports total, which was adult and juvenile. So there's a lot of transportation that takes place with this. The mileage last year, the average miles is 80,000 miles per year in transportation. So we wouldn't be going to other counties to pick anybody up, but if other counties were able to get the people here to Life Skills, we did tell them that we would transport those folks from here over to Western State.
Well, I appreciate your efforts in professionalizing this up a little more, and especially from a liability standpoint to us.
Yes, sir.
And that we got trained people doing this work.
Yes, sir.
And it's real important, so carry on.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you, Judge.
I'm glad to know where we are on
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Because it's been kind of on, off. Thank you very much, Sheriff. Ms. Yates? Jailer Harmon is not here.
He's transporting the Crime Stoppers.
Oh, he's working on Crime Stoppers. Mr. Comer?
Judge, Fiscal Court just wanted to give you a quick update on the feasibility study for the indoor tennis, indoor ice rink facility. Lowson Associates, they're working diligently to keep our time frame with the May 1 completion date for the study. We have a real big day coming up on March the 14th. We have several public workshops from 9 to 11 on that day. They'll be doing some site visits locally to several different sites. From 1 p.m. until 3 p.m., each of y'all received an email invite for the business development planning session, which will be held at the Soke Marketplace in Taylor's Chapel Church. And we would like for everybody on that list, and if you have friends that you'd like to bring that are involved in the business development standpoint, that's going to really be a critical meeting, and that's from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. We're also going to be meeting with the Inline Hockey Association. They have a separate meeting at the Parks Department office from 4 to 5. And we really appreciate Sean Rubel coordinating that focus group. Also on that same night, the 14th, from 5 to 6, Ms. Fee and then also Bobby Lindsay are coordinating the focus group for the inline or the tennis association meeting, which will be held that evening at the Parks office at Basil Griffin Park. And then from 6:30 to 8 p.m. on that night, March the 14th, at Basil Griffin Park, the administrative office, we will have a public forum open to everyone to come out and offer input in regards to what the community feels would be the benefits or concerns over the indoor ice or the indoor tennis facility. And then from there, the Lowson Associates, they will take that information back. They're beginning to prepare the draft 1 results. They've been working diligently, and we greatly appreciate all those that have been involved. And so hopefully our time frame is still set for a May 1 presentation, and hopefully we'll have some information for you at that time. So,
Well, you're right. That's a busy day.
yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Moore? Mr. Young? Mr. Pearson, how are you, sir? Glad you're back in good shape.
Thank you. It's good to be back in order. Just a quick note, Sunday is time change, which designates the start of spring. This is also severe storms week. We've pushed out a lot of information. The outdoor warning sirens will be tested tomorrow morning at 9:07. So inevitably, you guys are going to get some questions. That's what it is. Example, over the weekend, the terrible tornadoes that happened in Alabama and Georgia, and there was 25 fatalities, which was more than all the U.S. had in 18. So it's here. We want to be prepared for it, and I just want to make sure you guys are aware of it. Please share with everybody that that's what's going on for tomorrow.
Okay, and when we change the clocks, aren't we supposed to change the...
Change your batteries and your smoke detectors. Make sure those are up and operational. We, like I said, the fire department's doing a great job, but the best thing is not to have to call them. So take those preventative measures, and we'll get off spring, and hopefully the weather will change again. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Mr. Brandstetter has some people out of his office today, so he's upstairs working. Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Alexiff is not here. Mr. Appling? Mr. Markram? Chief Justice?
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
Chicken man.
We got Judge Doug Hicks. Glad to have you here, Doug. Okay. Squire Payne?
Judge, I'd like to move our next meeting till mid-July when it warms up a little bit.
All right. All right, we'll put that down as a recommendation. Squire Lawrence?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Squire Gorman?
It's two things very quickly. The Crime Stoppers breakfast is tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. That's where Jailer is picking up Joe Kenda, who is the guest speaker, and so you can go to American Bank or Citizens First Bank has tickets for that. I think it's $25 per person. That's tomorrow morning at the convention center at 6:30. It's a great organization to help that. And I wanted to give a compliment to Ms. Yates and their staff. Their computers went down yesterday for 3 or 4 hours, so you can imagine how people really usually are very excited and very hospitable about coming down to pay their car taxes and then coming down here to find out that the computers are down. So you got a double-edged sword there, but they did a great job of tap dancing. I don't know what they did, but they sure did do a good job with that. So sorry for that confusion, but thanks for doing that. So.
I didn't see Ms. Kohler back there. How are you, Nick? Did you have anything you'd like to share with us today? Squire McWhorter?
Thank you, sir.
Squire Young?
Thank you, Judge. The newly elected sheriff approached me not long after his election and wanted to set up something like a town hall meeting in different areas of the county. I just happened to be the first one I think he approached.
We get all the roads, you might as well get the first meeting too, right?
There you go. I set up a meeting for the sheriff at the Richardsville Community Center, and that will be March 14th, starting at 6 o'clock and lasting till, probably 7. But the sheriff might have more he wants to say about this, but just to make everybody aware in that area. And he is planning on doing this at different locations throughout the county, which I think is a great idea. Just, for public input of concerns or what they expect from the sheriff's department. I will be there also. So if they have any questions for me or whatever. I also invited our state representative. I don't know, Michael did say he would try to be there depending on what's going on with him. So, it'd be a good opportunity for the public to get to know our new sheriff and voice their concerns, to him. So, invite everyone out for that meeting.
That's Thursday, March 14th?
Thursday, March 14th.
6
o'clock.
until?
Yep.
Won't be over at 7.
I think that's about as long
At
as
Richardsville Community Center, right?
Richardsville Community Center.
Okay. Squire Cummings?
I have nothing today, Judge, thank you.
Ms. Milliken? Mr. Burrow?
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Hale?
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Smith?
Thank you, Judge.
All righty. Any other business to come before this body? We have our next regularly scheduled fiscal court meeting is Friday, March 22nd at 9 a.m. And There's a monster truck show at the Ag Expo Center this coming Saturday from 2 to 7 on the 9th. Monster truck show at the Ag Expo Center, Western's campus, Western's Ag Center, 2 to 7. There's no other business to come before this body?
It's 2 and 7. There'll be-
Oh, at 2 and 7.
That's what
Here-
I've heard advertised.
Here, that's where you know you've got a real monster truck fan here.
He's got tickets for both.
Got tickets to both shows. All right. No other business. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Payne.